Stephen Curry is the face of an entire generation of NBA basketball. His contagiously joyous style of play and a bidding humility that he brings to his role as an NBA superstar makes him one of the greatest athletes of our time. There are precious few athletes in the world who play their respective sport with such skill, such poise, and such palpable sense of infectious joy for their craft that they transcend the predetermined and rigid confines of their sport itself and enter into a space that feels closer to a high-stakes performance art.
Oh, that was beautiful, dazzling display.
Wardell Stephen Curry II is one of those precious few. A skinny, undersized kid from Charlotte, North Carolina, who fundamentally shifted the trajectory of one of the most powerful cultural forces in the world, the game of basketball. He's the greatest shooter this world has ever seen, a 4-time NBA champion, 2-time league MVP, and one of the finest teammates in modern sports history, and a profoundly humble and decent human being.
And now the Warriors have opened.
Steph represents the best that sports can offer. Seeing him play the game of basketball in person is a truly one-of-a-kind spectacle that cannot be replicated or even approximated by any other player, or any other medium of entertainment for that matter. Steph's persona on the court is akin to a graceful matador, dodging in and out of traffic, exploiting the tiniest window of daylight in order to hoist a contested three-point shot from literally anywhere on the court, performing a whole repertoire of unofficially patent Curry celebration poses. The shimmy, the 1-2-3-4, the look-away three-pointer, and of course, the night-night, which either send the home crowd into a hysterical frenzy or utterly demoralize the opposing team's legions of fans in an instant. Curry brings his own trademark brand of color, flair, tenacity, and unbridled creativity to each and every time he hits the floor. He is the rare athlete whose highlight reel alone makes the case for sports being an ever-evolving art form. If that's not enough, he also just happens to be a paragon of graceful leadership under pressure and a kind-hearted stand-up individual who never puts himself before the team. Steph has reached a point in his illustrious career where he is now being mentioned in discussions of the top 10 greatest players to ever pick up a basketball. Regardless of anyone's personal rankings, one factor that makes Steph undeniably stand out from his fellow all-time greats is the manner in which he has imprinted his individuality as a player and a person of the game of basketball, and in the process literally changed the way the game was played worldwide. Curry's sui generis ability as a smaller guard to space the floor with unlimited shooting range and a lightning-quick release on his shot single-handedly sparked the flame of the three-point revolution in basketball. Believe it or not, Steph and the Golden State Warriors as a team faced considerable backlash to the road to revolutionizing the sport. Much of the basketball establishment, looking at you, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal, were deeply skeptical of Steph and the Warriors' style of play as a team. In retrospect, these hoops legends' collective skepticism was understandable, considering that at the time, there was next to no evidence of this style of play being conducive to winning basketball.
O'Neal puts it on the floor and stops, and he brought it down! He brought the whole goal down!
But eventually, Steph and the Warriors became an undeniable, and their fast-paced, unselfish, jump-shooting style of play not only worked, but helped them win multiple championships in a matter of years. Even Steph's pre-game warm-up routine has become a spectacle unto itself, drawing an early crowd of onlookers at every Warriors game, home or otherwise, for almost a decade now. In this routine, Steph dazzles the crowd with complex two-ball dribbling drills and shooting challenges that see him sinking shots from as far as half-court with ease. If the Warriors happen to be playing at home, this spectacular warm-up culminates with Steph swishing an absurdly difficult 40-foot heave from the home team's tunnel.
Monday, again, David Griffin, Rose Parrish, among others. Yes, he did.
Not since Michael Jordan himself has a player's magnetic presence on the basketball court left the NBA crowds in a memorized stupor hours before the contest has even tipped. Aside from his generational ball handling skills, shooting ability, and elite hand-eye coordination, the element of his game that makes Steph a transcendent athlete is his impeccable sense of showmanship. There's nothing in all sports quite like the moment when the crowd realizes that Stephen Curry is about to go nuclear.
Durant flips a pass. Nice fake by Curry. Sidestep layup. Beautiful from Steph Curry.
A few shots start to go down, and suddenly everyone in the gym can't take their eyes off number 30. Steph plays the game with such swagger and such a sense of unwavering jubilance that it's almost, it seems, as if he is toying with the defense at times. His devastating shooting ability changed the way that basketball was played, but his supernova of charisma on the court changed the culture of the game forevermore. Steph belongs to an exclusive group of players across NBA history who epitomize the notion of unselfish franchise-leading superstar. Essentially, he's one of select few star players who remain loyal to one team their entire career. Even LeBron James, the greatest player in the modern era of basketball, will never truly be synonymous with any signature franchise, like Russell's Celtics, Duncan's Spurs, Magic's Lakers, etc., because of the iterant nature of his career. Stephen Curry is the Golden State Warriors. Everyone knows this.
A foul should have been called. Curry gets into the paint, left-handed, banks it in.
Steph, his lovely wife Aisha, and the entire Curry clan are the closest thing the Bay Area has to a de facto royal family. And yet Steph, a player who wields absolute power in his organization and virtual impunity amongst the team's fan base, carries himself like just another player on the roster, trying to help the team win another championship every year. When Kevin Durant was considering joining the already stacked Warriors back in 2017, Steph welcomed the addition with open arms, never allowing his sense of ego as the face of the franchise to jeopardize the team's chances at success. This kind of selfless abdication is extremely rare in pro sports and even more scarcely demonstrated by superstar players on Steph's level. Not only does his unassuming, malleable style of leadership hold the franchise together, but his style of play between the lines is uniquely unselfish for a player that scores at the rate that Curry does.
Told you about where these two teams sit. Thompson gets it from Steph.
The ball doesn't get stagnant in Steph Curry's offense because he is constantly moving, cutting, screening, and using his gravity on the court to set up teammates for success. He is the platonic ideal selfless superstar, a master of both his craft and the theater of sports, and genuinely inspired pillar of class, decency, and fidelity in an increasingly fickle and egotistical league. In the hearts of Warriors fans, Curry's legacy was secure long before the team's most recent remarkable championship run in 2022. But for years, naysayers have continuously levied the same criticism against Steph's case as an all-time great player. The fact that he had never been awarded the Finals MVP on a championship team, which he himself had just carried to the promised land. While the overall validity of that criticism is hugely debatable, it nonetheless hung an unpleasant stench in the air surrounding any discussions of Steph's legacy and the legitimacy of the Warriors dynasty. So earlier this year, when Warriors fans saw Steph Curry enter a raucous, sold-out TD Garden in a must-win Game 4 on the road in Boston and proceed to play the best game of his life, it was a borderline religious experience. Watching Steph deliver his absolute best in the biggest possible moment inside the most hostile environment imaginable was the stuff of legend, and precisely the kind of performance Steph needed to cement his status as one of the GOATs. When the Warriors eventually secured the championship with a definitive victory in Game 6, Steph let out more emotion than Warriors fans had ever seen him show previously. When the final buzzer sounded and the team rushed the floor, number 30 had tears streaming down his face. Longtime Warriors veteran and 2015 NBA Finals MVP Andre Iguodala brought Steph the game ball in a moving gesture of abiding respect. It was a tremendously cathartic moment for Steph, Warriors fans, and the franchise as a whole.
Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining!
Over the last decade, numerous and probably lucky breaks, advantageous confluences, and convenient coincidences allowed the Warriors to build their championship dynasty. Using the 35th pick in the draft to select Draymond Green, who turned out to be the ultimate match made in heaven and complementary piece for Steph on both ends of the court. having one of the greatest shooters of all time in Klay Thompson combined with Steph to create the greatest shooting backcourt of all time, the Splash Brothers. Hiring coach Steve Kerr, who brought the exact level-headed temperament and progressive basketball ideology that the team required to flourish, and so on and so forth, helped the team be who they are today. But none of it would have meant anything unless back in 2009, 6 teams elected to pass on the man who would go on to be known as Chef Curry. In the current era of all-star NBA players switching teams every other year, Steph remained loyal to a historically irrelevant franchise in the Warriors and built an organization into a powerhouse of basketball excellence through sheer force of will. He never requested a trade, never spoke down on a teammate or a coach, and never let the fan base down in any significant way on or off the court. There will never be another Steph Curry. No other modern NBA player has the colossal amount of influence on the game that he has. But by result of some kind of divine paradox, or perhaps because he himself never expected to be as dominant as he is, Steph has let 0% of his earned adoration and fame go to his head. Stephen Curry is a global icon.
That sound good? What do I do when I make a shot?
Eternally down-to-earth family man, and forever a benevolent giant in the grand firmament of American sports history. And the craziest thing is, he's still going.